East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don with you from the Alpha Weather Centers. We talked to you a little bit about this afternoon about severe weather possibilities across East Alabama and West Georgia. We welcome those of you who are listening this evening via radio, WFAZ, God's Country 90.9, and WJHO 89.7, the classic, and of course all of our friends who are watching us this evening on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and DrDonWX.com. So here we are. We are watching a line of very strong thunderstorms march into West Alabama from Mississippi. That complex of thunderstorm activity has been causing some pretty nasty weather all the way from Texas now into Mississippi and Alabama. We have had at least one tornado fatality over in Texas last night into this morning. And the good news here is, just as expected, this line of thunderstorms has been showing some signs of weakening as it moves into West Alabama and now moving into West Central Alabama. The stability, the atmosphere, not quite as conducive for severe weather the further east you go. And while we do still anticipate heavy thunderstorm activity across West Alabama, even into Central Alabama, and we certainly cannot rule out a few strong to marginally severe storms across East Alabama and West Georgia, I don't think we're looking at the tornado threat east of I-65 like we are west of I-65. We have seen multiple tornado warnings this afternoon in eastern Mississippi and western Alabama, but those storms have quickly dissipated as far as the tornado threat is concerned as they move on into Alabama. And we're hoping, quite frankly, that that trend continues, and maybe all we end up with across East Alabama and West Georgia is a good old summertime type thunderstorm with very heavy rainfall. That's going to happen. 1 to 2, maybe even some localized amounts of 3 inches of rain certainly will be possible across East Alabama, and the winds are going to be gusty. We're going to have to deal with that whether we have thunderstorms or not. But the thinking right now is that the tornado threat may not be nearly as high across East Alabama as we have seen this afternoon across eastern Mississippi and western Alabama. So for those of you listening to us on radio, I'll try to paint this picture for you. We're going to, for those of you watching us on social media, we're going to switch radars right quick and go to the Birmingham Radar site so that we can get a little more detail, a little more resolution. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer, and we'll talk about what's happening over in West Alabama at this hour. We do have a tornado watch that was issued about an hour ago that does cover central Alabama, basically from Huntsville down to Coleman. It does get the Birmingham metro area. It stretches down into Shelby County. It gets the Centerville-Brent area in Bibb County. Also covers Chilton, Autauga, gets into Lowndes County, and then down there into portions of Dallas County, down there around Selma. And from that area west all the way back into Mississippi, we're now under a tornado watch. There are actually 2 different tornado watches covering those areas. So we have no counties across East Alabama or West Georgia under any type of watch or warning right now. We do have a wind advisory that is in effect for the entire area through tomorrow. So we have a broken line of thunderstorms that basically stretches from just north of Coleman down to just north of northwest of Birmingham, and then just north of Tuscaloosa. We have a pretty good thunderstorm up there just north of Tuscaloosa, up around Northport. That's moving off to the northeast. No warnings there, though. These storms they're strong now. I mean, it's storming up there. There's no question about that. Lots of thunder, lots of lightning, some gusty winds, but by definition, they are below severe thunderstorm limits at this time. And then we have another cell that is just to the west of Tuscaloosa, right there north of I-20. and then it breaks up again, then picks up again down there around Utah, just south of I-20, and that line stretches all the way back into southwest Alabama, just north of Silas, and then back into southeastern Mississippi, just to the east of Laurel, Mississippi, where we actually do have 2 tornado warnings in effect now. And so the only county in Alabama, though, that is covered by that tornado warning is going to be, let's catch that right quick. Yeah, and that's the one we're looking for. This is going to be a tornado warning for southern Choctaw County in southwestern Alabama, northwestern Washington County in southwest Alabama, northwestern Wayne County in southeastern Mississippi. That warning is in effect until 6:45, so about another 40 minutes or so on that tornado warning down there in southwest Alabama. Now, that is the only tornado warning we have at the moment. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for this storm up here around Utah, Alabama, and that one is in effect until 6:30 p.m. this afternoon right there along I-20, I-59 near Utah this afternoon. So that's kind of what we're looking at. It's a broken line of showers and thunderstorms, very heavy rainfall, certainly a lot of lightning, and then those tornado warnings down there in southwest Alabama at this hour. Now, we are beginning to see some showers develop well in advance of the main line, just some light showers in Coosa County, and then down in Elmore County near Wetumpka, we're seeing a shower develop there. And then south of Montgomery, a small cell developing there as well. So as that continues to move off to the east, northeast, we could see some showers in places like Lee County, Auburn-Opelika area in the next hour or so. Certainly Alexander City and Dadeville could see some showers in the next hour or so, but we're not concerned about that going severe, at least not right now. We'll keep an eye on it. The main show will be that line of showers and thunderstorms back off to our west, again, that stretches from Huntsville down to just west of Birmingham and then on down into southwest Alabama and southeast Mississippi. That will continue moving relatively slow this afternoon, about 20 to 25 miles per hour. But I think we will start to see showers and thunder showers and maybe even some rain in East Alabama in the next couple of hours, and then the main line will come through sometime after 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. It's going to hang around for a minute. That's why there is a threat for some significant rainfall. This is a relatively slow-moving system. We're going to watch all of this very closely for you throughout the night. And, of course, if things were to change or if we start to have some severe weather in East Alabama or West Georgia, we'll be right back and we'll have full coverage for you here on God's Country and the Classic. We're going to pause for about 10 seconds and allow our radio stations to go back to regular programming, and then I'll be back to answer questions on social media. You are listening to severe weather coverage on Dr. Don's Weather. Once again, good evening to you, East Alabama and West Georgia. We kind of get in a more informal mode now, and I'll go up there and take a look at the chat room and answer any questions you may have. If you have questions about what I just went through, now's the time to post those questions. And so a question right off the bat there from Sharon down in Alexander City. Is this the main line coming through? Yes, there is another line behind this one. Let me go back to the composite so we can get a big picture. All right, so the line that's coming through West Alabama now is going to end up being the main line. There is another small area, very thin line of thunderstorms back over western and central Arkansas from Springfield, Missouri down to about Hot Springs and then down to Shreveport, Mississippi. But the main line is going to take care of what instability we have across Alabama. So when that secondary line comes through, I think there's not going to be a whole lot to it. Now, we'll keep an eye on it. But I think this first line is probably going to rob the atmosphere of the instability. So I'm not really concerned about that second line right now. Of course, there's always that chance that could change, so we'll keep an eye on that for you as we move through the remainder of the evening. Hogansville, Georgia's in the house. Good evening to you, Sherry. Sharon is watching us from Roanoke. Regina is in Wedowee. Diane is in Roanoke. Ben's in the house. Cecilia. There's Beverly watching us in Alexander City. Yes, Nicole, there is a chance we could see some power outages with non-thunderstorm winds. This particular weather set up at about 5,000 feet in the atmosphere. We almost have hurricane force winds up there, 70, 75 mile per hour winds. So when some of the heavier rain showers move through your area, that rain can bring some of that extreme wind down to the surface. And so even if you're not having thunderstorm winds per se, the heavier rain showers can transport some of that wind from the upper levels of the atmosphere down to the surface, and then that could cause some problems. The ground's saturated, or will be shortly after this starts. These storms are very proficient rainmakers, so the rain is going to be just tremendous when it comes through. So it's not going to take a whole lot of wind to start bringing down some trees and power lines, and of course, we all know what happens when that starts to take place. We certainly could start losing some power lines in the area. So, yeah, there's a possibility we could see some scattered power outages with this system. I wouldn't expect it to be a widespread event, but certainly that is possible. Deborah's watching us this evening. Marlon's watching us in Roanoke. Lafayette's in the house. There's Chad Cook watching us in LaGrange. Good to see you in here, Chad. Mary's watching us in Buxton. That's good, Sharon. I'm glad you've got your weather radio programmed and ready to go because, these things come through during the overnight hours. We like to go to bed. And as long as you've got that weather radio programmed up and working properly, that thing will wake you up if a warning is issued for your county. Folks, I suggest you program or set it up and some of the newer ones, you just tell it you want the area. But I suggest you do it not just the county you live in, but also one tier of counties surrounding the county you live in. That way, you've got a little more heads up. I'll just take Tallapoosa County for an example, because Sharon's in Alexander City. So what you would want to do then is set the weather radio up to give you alerts for Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and most likely Russell County, maybe, or Elmore County would be a good one too. You want to get those surrounding counties so that you have a little more heads up. Most of the time our weather comes from the northwest, the west, or southwest. Occasionally it comes out of the south, and we have all seen situations where the weather's moved in from the east. That's very rare, but it does happen. So, yeah, I'd set it up for the county I live in and for the surrounding counties. Shirley's watching us in Roanoke. Debbie is in Wadley. Sabra Burns in the house. Good to see you, Miss Sabra. She's in Roanoke. Blairsville, Georgia, up in Union County. Miss Melissa Franklin. Good to see you, Melissa. We're neighbors. I'm in White County. Mossback Ridge between Hightower and Machieville. Good to see you, Gloria. Question here from Cannon. What time is it supposed to hit Wadley? Yeah, well, I mean, we can give you a time frame. We could see some showers in the Wadley area really anytime within the next hour or so. That main line over there, though, I think it will be after 9:10 p.m. It may be running just a little bit ahead of schedule. Originally, we told you anytime after 11, but this thing may be moving a little bit faster than we originally thought. All right, so the Weather Service has canceled some of the tornado watches over in West Alabama. That's a good sign. So they've canceled the tornado watch for Fayette, Pickens, and Winston counties over in West Alabama. They continue the tornado watch for Greene, Hale, Marengo, Sumter, Tuscaloosa, Walker, Autauga, Bibb, Blount, Chilton, Dallas, Jefferson, Lowndes, Perry, Shelby, and St. Clair. Those counties continue under the tornado watch, and our central Alabama counties will stay under that watch until 11 p.m. And this warning down here is issued by the National Weather Service in Mobile, and that's a warning for a radar-indicated possible tornado. That warning is in effect, let's see, until 6:45, and that is for southern Choctaw, northwestern Washington, and northwestern Wayne County over in Mississippi. Tin Chop, Alabama's in the house. Smith Station, there's Ted. Good to see you, Ted. Lafayette. Mark says, what time do you think it'll hit Omaha? You're usually within 10 minutes. There's a certain amount of luck that goes into this too, Mark. There is some skill, but there's a little bit of luck that goes into this too. Again, this line is really moving to the east at only about 20 to 25 miles per hour. You could have some showers across East Alabama, the Omaha area, within the next hour or so. But that main line, I think it's after 10 p.m., probably 10:30, 11 o'clock, something like that, before it gets into East Alabama. Understand too, folks, these weather systems like this, it's a fluid situation. The setup is constantly changing. So even though we can give you a general idea of when a line of thunderstorms is going to move through your area, but until it gets really close, it's hard to pinpoint that time, because this line can speed up, it can slow down, it can weaken, it can ramp back up, and all of those factors determine how fast it's going to move off to the east. So we can throw a time period at you, but until it gets within 50 miles of your location, it's really hard to try to get it down to within 5 or 10 minutes or so. But I would think after 10 p.m. before the main line gets into East Alabama. Same thing for Clay County. Dogwood Circle in the hood. Good to see you, Miss Jill. There's a Banda. Mr. Jimmy Stevens. Jimmy Stevens Construction's in the house. Good to see you, Mr. Jimmy. Again, thank you for your support. Joyce Hill is watching us from Roanoke. Dahlonega in the house, also a neighbor of mine. I'm just right down the road, Miss Lois. And you folks in Georgia are scratching your head going, what's this dude doing in North Georgia doing weather for East Alabama? If you don't know, that's where I moved to Georgia from. I was in East Alabama for 22 plus years and was in radio the majority of that time down there. So with modern technology the way it is, we can now provide that part of Alabama and Georgia with a service that they really don't have from any other outlets. The major television stations in Birmingham and Atlanta both just really don't provide much coverage, weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia. And it's not to their fault. It is what it is. And I won't get off on that soapbox, but we're able to provide that for those folks down there in East Alabama and West Georgia. So that's why we do this. Yeah, Gainesville. I'm just north of Gainesville. You folks in Gainesville, go outside and look north. That mountain that you see, that's got those 3 towers on it. That's where I'm at, on the north side of that mountain called Waka Mountain, or as one of my grandkids call it, Monkey Mountain. Hello, Widowie. Good to see you, Michelle. Sue Smith's watching from Roanoke. You're welcome, Sherry. Glad to do it. Upper Omaha's on full alert this evening. It's good, Mark. Again, I don't think this is going to be a red letter severe weather event for any location east of I-65. It has not been a red letter weather event in West Alabama, though we have had several thunderstorms that have gone severe. We've had a couple of tornadic thunderstorms down there in southwest Alabama. We have one ongoing right now down there north of Millery. So it hasn't been a red letter day anyway, so I don't expect this to be a major severe weather outbreak across East Alabama either. Though there's going to be thunder and lightning, very heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, and we cannot rule out the possibility of a rogue severe thunderstorm or even a tornado across East Alabama. But as this line continues to move off to the east, it is going to slowly weaken. We lose the thermal dynamics of the day, but the upper level dynamics sometimes can overcome that. And with this particular setup, we have such veering in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Sometimes you don't need ground instability to keep these thunderstorms going, though they are showing us a history of weakening as they slowly move off to the east. And we have every reason to believe that that trend will continue. Yes, Stephen, we still have pretty strong winds up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So, folks, when you are on Facebook, if you have the option to allow Restream to sign you in or connect to your Facebook account, it is perfectly safe to do that, because if you don't, then I can't see who you are. So if you're on Facebook, if you get a message that says Restream would like to connect to your account, that is kosher. That is perfectly fine. If you don't do that, then I can't see who you are. Restream is the platform we use to distribute our video feed to all of our different social media outlets. And Restream takes the chat room from Facebook, YouTube, and combines it together, and that's what I see on the back end. So if you're prompted to allow Restream to connect to your account, your Facebook account, that's perfectly fine. And you don't have to do that, but if you don't, I don't know, I can't see who you are. It just says Facebook user. I was at WELR at Roanoke back before I moved up to North Georgia. 2011, I think, when we left and moved up here. So, yeah, up until 2011, I was at Eagle 102. Beverly, probably after 10, 11 o'clock tonight is the general time frame, though we have some light showers that are breaking out ahead of the main line, so you could see a shower in Alexander City at any time. But the main line of storms, we're thinking it's going to be after 9 or I mean 10 or 11 p.m. before it comes through. Hey, Paula, good to see you. Ricky Cofield is in Lafayette. All right, folks, it's 6:25. We're going to take this to about 6:30 Central, and then we're going to stand by and just watch and see what happens. I may come back and give you another update in a couple of hours. It just kind of depends on how this thing plays out. If you're just joining us, we have generally been watching a weakening trend over the last hour or so. We have had several severe thunderstorm warnings. We have had several tornado warnings over in West Alabama. But by and large, overall, the system has been weakening, except for down there on the southern end of the line. And that's where the atmosphere is ripest this afternoon for severe weather. That's where the instability is the greatest. And so we've been seeing several warnings down there, but that part of the line will stay well south of East Alabama and West Georgia as it moves through. So we're going to watch this over the course of the next couple of hours and see what happens. And if I think it becomes necessary, then I'll jump back in here and give you another quick update. So, it's always good. If you don't hear from me, that means there's nothing to be concerned about. So we'll go with that theory this evening. Tornado in Lisbon. Okay, I'm not familiar with that. Denise, where is that? That must be over in Mississippi. The only tornado out there right now is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. They're just north of Millery, or just to the west, northwest, or just north of Chatham, northwest of Jackson. You folks from Roanoke know where that's at. Just west of Thomasville. That is a tornado warning. It remains in effect until 6:45 for Choctaw, northwestern Washington, and northeastern Wayne counties. Radar, a severe thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado, was located over Gilberttown, or 16 miles south of Butler, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour, and that was about 5 minutes ago. Okay. All right. That's a new one on me, so let me plot that. Choctaw County. And bear with me a second. All right, it's in Choctaw County up on Highway 10, just northwest of Butler. That's a nasty looking storm. I do not see anything from the Weather Service that indicates that would substantiate that report just yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. Let me go look at the... Yeah, it would probably be somewhere just north of Silas now, near Gilberttown. Down there in southwest Alabama. Let me... switch to Mobile and go back to the reflectivity. Or, I'm sorry. There we go. Okay. Actually, there's two areas of rotation down there. Got one right there. Hold on a second. Okay, you've got one area of rotation right there, just northeast of Gilberttown. And looks like there's another one just south of it down here. Right there. I'll circle both of them at the same time. That's not a real good circle, but there you go. You get the general idea. There's two areas of rotation down there, and one's following the other. And that's been what we've noticed this afternoon down there in southwest Alabama. They're coming out of Mississippi, and they're just training along the same locations. But then when they get a little bit north of that area, when they get up there north of maybe Butler and Sweetwater, they start to get into a little more stable air, so they start to lose their tornadic signatures. Take it back to the reflectivity. I'll zoom back out. And again, those are the only two warnings in the state of Alabama. That actually looks pretty good down there, the one southwest of Jackson, Alabama. And then here comes another one trying to develop just north of Mobile. All right, so that warning is for south central Choctaw County, northwestern Washington, and northern Clark. At 6:30, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was over Fruitdale, or 12 miles southwest of Chatham, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. So, yeah, things are, but you'll notice up here on the northern storm, it's still there. The signature is still there, but it doesn't look quite as well as it did when it was about 10 miles further south. So, as these storms form down there and move to the north and northeast, over the last couple of hours anyway, they've been losing some of their intensity. Opelika's in East Alabama, so your arrival time up there will be, we got some showers around the Montgomery area now, stretching up into Alexander City, and then also down there around Tallahassee. So some of that stuff could migrate over into Lee County in the next hour or so. The main line won't come through probably until after 10 o'clock tonight, 10, 11 o'clock tonight. And I think by the time it gets into East Alabama, it'll be nothing like what we're looking at right now back over in West Alabama. But we're going to watch it just in case that changes. Yes, Denise, the individual storms are moving northeast. Put that in motion. You can see it. The individual storms are moving northeast, while the entire weather system is moving very slowly to the east. The storms are racing off to the northeast around 40 miles per hour, but the overall complex, the entire line of storms, is slowly shifting to the east around 20 miles per hour. Okay, folks, we're going to step aside, and I'm going to be monitoring this as we go throughout the remainder of the afternoon and during the overnight hours. And if I think there is a reason to come back and give you updates, I certainly will. If the tornado watch were to get moved further east, if they shift it further east at all, it's going to start getting into our county. So that's when we start looking at doing long form coverage wall to wall once we go under a tornado watch. So we'll assess that if it happens. I'm not seeing anything right now that would lead me to believe that the watch would be shifted any further east than it is right now. Now, time will tell if these storms make it into the Montgomery and Birmingham areas and they're still as strong as they are down in southwest Alabama. Alabama, then we'd expect to see that happen. But notice the line is just really breaking up there. Southwest of Birmingham, we have that one lone storm there west of Brent that's moving to the northeast. So I just really would not anticipate this watch being shifted any further east as we go throughout the evening. But we'll watch it and see. And if by chance, for some reason, they decide it's best to do that, then we'll be right back with you, and we will continue with our coverage as we go throughout the overnight hours. Let me see if I can get that back on Birmingham right quick. Just want to look at one thing before we let you out of here. Yeah, it just, the northern extent of this line just doesn't look very healthy. Lots of rain, lots of wind, lots of thunder and lightning. But as far as tornadoes are concerned, I really think that threat's going to stay down here in southwest Alabama, and in time we'll move off to the east, maybe. But understand, we'll be going through the overnight hours then, so we'll lose any heating of the day, and that may help calm these storms down a little bit too. So it's going to be a watch and see, but overall I don't expect anything major across East Alabama. We'll let you know if that is going to change. Of course, we'll come right back and let you know. Sherry, if you're on YouTube, you don't have to worry about it because YouTube automatically integrates with Restream. So you don't have to do anything special if you're watching us on YouTube. It's just for the Facebook viewers when they're asked to allow Restream to connect to their account, they do need to say yes so I can see who they are. But you don't have to do that on YouTube. So if you don't want to allow Restream to connect to your Facebook, then just go and watch us on YouTube. You don't have to worry about it. All that happens. It used to happen automatically on Facebook, and Facebook changed something, and so now you have to allow it to connect to your account. So that's the way that works. And Restream is just it's a product that we use to distribute our signal to all of our different social media channels. And if you're interested in it, Sherry, for that reason, just Google Restream, and you can find all about it. All right, so, yeah, I'm going to step aside here. We're going to watch this together. And like I said, I'll let you know if we're going to come back and do anything else tonight. All depends on what Mother Nature throws at us. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with us. I just posted our website, drdonwx.com. If you'd like to go over there and support us, there is a donate button right there on the home page. Click on that, and it is quick, fast, secure. It's through PayPal, and you can support us that way if you'd like to. We appreciate that. You can also download the Dr. Don app from drdonwx.com. I'll see you back in here maybe later this evening, if not first thing tomorrow morning, with your primetime forecast. Dr. Don's weather. Y'all be safe out there and remain weather aware.